Hi there. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Derek Passant, Joint Chief Executive of the Greenhouse Group, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to our business. My colleagues and I are really looking forward to working with you over the coming years, and I'm sure we'll have a very interesting time. I believe that David is presenting to you today your performance so far in 2019, and he thought it would be a good idea if I was to give you a bit of information about the Greenhouse Group. So here goes. Just going to run through a bit of history about Greenhouse so you guys know who we are. This gentleman is Vincent Greenhouse. He is our founder. Back in 1912 he opened an ironmonger's in a little place called Bishop's Castle, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere up in the hills, about 25 miles from Shrewsbury. The group is now owned in the main by myself and Kerry Finnan. So I am responsible for all of the dealership entities, and Kerry, as you see there, is responsible for what we class as the non-franchise division, which these days really is refurbishing cars at very, very large refurbishment centres across the country. I own 52% and Kerry owns 46%, and then there's a little bit spread amongst some others. These are our goals, and we genuinely believe in these long-lasting and fruitful partnerships. We have been around for such a long time, we know lots of people, but we genuinely, absolutely believe in this. It's what we've got with our manufacturer partners, and it's certainly what we've got and focus on with our customers. Our customers are everything, as they are to you, and we're not in for quick short-term profits. It's more about long-term partnerships. If we start with the retail operations, these are the brands that we represent, as you can see there: Vauxhall, Ford, DAF, Nissan, VW Commercial, and Mori. This is one of our retail sites in Telford. It's on a 7-acre site. It's a little bit bigger than what you're used to, I guess. But in some ways it's almost too big. You guys do a great job from where you are, and maybe we can learn a bit from you. This is Shrewsbury, which was a Vauxhall sales operation up until January this year. It was my decision to take away the sales aspect, well, the Vauxhall sales aspect, new car sales aspect, because having Telford, which is literally 20 minutes up the road, it didn't seem to be making a lot of sense to me to have double the manufacturer costs when customers will go up to Telford. So we've made this into an all makes operation. So we're now selling BMWs and Mercedes and Maseratis even out of this site, and it's proving a real success at the moment. That's a body centre which is behind that sales operation which I've just mentioned, the all-make sales operation. That's you, as I'm pretty sure you know. That's our Nissan site, which is also in Shrewsbury. For many years, having been around since 1912, we, like yourselves, I think, spend a lot of time in our local community. We invest a lot of money, we do a lot of charity work, we sponsor lots of football teams, lots of young football teams. We particularly look after the young children in the area as best we can. But Shrewsbury and Telford, which is really where our heart of our business has been located, we really do mix in the community and support as many people as we possibly can. Moving on to the commercial operations, this is our Greenhouse DAF in Shrewsbury. We took on Leyland DAF in about 1988, I think it was, and we've been with them ever since. Obviously, Leyland disappeared, but DAF is really, really strong. In the main part of the operation, they take a 30% market share, which is quite phenomenal. This one's Birmingham, which we took on almost 2 years ago, which is purely a service centre, not a sales point. But it's been a real success. This is Wolverhampton, which is, or was, the largest of our DAF operations, which again is a sales point as well as a service point. Telford, which was a small service dealer, which we took on earlier in the year and is already starting to generate profits. This is the only Volkswagen van centre we've got in the group. It's based in Bilston. The actual site, rarely and unusually for us, which is actually owned by the manufacturer. We tend to prefer to own our own buildings, but this was not a choice. They wanted to retain the building, so we operate our van operation from there, and we sell, give or take, about 1,000 vans a year out of that site. Then, of course, as you know, I think you know, we purchased Adams Morey in July, which is a massive opportunity, we believe. So we've got sites all down the south there: Bournemouth, Eastleigh, Millbrook, which is actually a new Fiat van sales operation, Fiat Professional it's called. And we have now started to grow that business by putting a larger number of used vans to try and generate some profit. It's not a profit-making operation as we stand, but we'll do whatever we can to turn that round. Obviously next door, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that one. Salisbury, Southampton, which is the largest of the operations. Basingstoke, which is a fabulously profitable operation, but probably too small a site. We might have to expand that in some way. And then, of course, Portsmouth, which again is a very, very large operation. We are really excited by the purchase of Adams Morey. We believe there's loads of potential. We're already seeing that potential. We've got 3 or 4 accounts, new ones, which will probably create somewhere in the region of 300 to 400 extra trucks next year. So we only see this going one way, and that's in a very positive way. This gives you an idea of the locations of our operations. I won't go into them all, but in the main, that is all of the franchise operations. You can see it covers Greenhous, Adams Morey, and then Smart Fleet Solutions, which I will explain that in a minute or two about what Smart Fleet Solutions is all about. And that's the Adams Morey new. So what you can see from that is we've got lots of operations spread from Livingston in Scotland down to you on the Isle of Wight. So we pretty much cover the whole of the UK in some shape or form. The biggest part of our business for many years has been the fleet operation. We have developed systems and processes which very, very few other people have got, and it's what's enabled us to grow and grow and grow our business. The retail obviously gives us an entry into the fleet, but the fleet historically has been where we've made most of our profit, fleet and commercials. We have developed over the last 5 years a system which is pretty unique, I think. So we're told anyway, certainly by the customers and the manufacturers. We've invested heavily, and we're talking millions of pounds, in a fleet system which nobody's got, everybody comes to see, but thus far nobody's been able to replicate. So, for instance, we can give every customer a fleet portal. They can see at any time what vehicles they've got on order. With most of the manufacturers, they can even see where they are, even as far as being in Europe on the plant, at the plant being built. or we can tell them whether it's in our PDI centre, or we can tell them whether it's on the truck on the way to them. It's information which literally nobody else provides, and it's what ties the fleet customers to Greenhous. They can see how many cars they've had, how many vans they've had, how many trucks they've had, hopefully in the near future, in the quarter, in the month, on the day. So a fleet purchasing director on a Sunday afternoon can go onto a system, press a button, and he can see the state of all of his vehicles that they've got on order. And when you think that some of the rental companies we supply will have thousands of vehicles on order at any one time, it's a real plus for them and helps them manage their fleet to a level that they can't do with any other supplier. The Fleet Logistics Centre, we've got a number. I'll show you a picture in a minute. But we have all the information. The minute the vehicle arrives, it's scanned in. All the information's downloaded onto the system. It's just a different level to anybody else. When we're delivering them, we know where any car is at any time. We can track it. We can talk to the drivers. The drivers have a process of before they deliver the vehicle to the customer. They phone him half an hour before they're going to arrive. If the vehicle's got dirty on the way, we insist that it's cleaned before they deliver it. So they'll find a car wash and put it through that. They're presented in a way which is so professional. And all these things make such a difference to our business. But they do come at a cost. I'm not saying we're the cheapest in the business, but I believe we are the most professional. There's a list of the type of companies that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Literally, if it's a fleet company or a rental company, contract hire company, we supply them. Oh. This gives you an idea of the scale of our fleet centres. So this is in Stoke. Fenton's a place in Stoke, where we at any one time have probably got between 3,000 and 4,000 Vauxhalls on the ground. This is the latest of our PDI centres, which is in a place called Iarkle, which is near Telford, which is smack bang in the middle of the country. Again, we can get between 4,000 and 5,000 on that site. It's 34 acres. We bought it about 4 years ago, and it's been open for 3, and we're now looking to extend it. And having that sort of facility enables us to sell 63,000 cars, vans and trucks a year. That's what last year's figure was. This year's will be very similar, maybe even a few more, although we've probably done a few less Fords this year. As you know, it's not been the greatest year for Ford, and they've had their difficulties, and that's obviously has an impact, but we've grown our Vauxhall, and this sounds pretty similar to what it was last year. So all in all, we'll be there or thereabouts again. Smart Fleet Solutions, which is the other side of the business, the non-franchise side as we call it, is similar to our fleet operations, but it's for refurbishing vehicles. So that's a site in Nottingham called Long Bennington, where we undertake a number of refurbishments. That's in Bristol, a place called Westbury near Bristol, another site. Overall, we will refurbish 50,000 vehicles a year. In the main, those Motability cars that you're selling, when they come back in 3 years' time, unless they're purchased by the dealer, they come to us. We refurbish them, then they're sold through the auctions by Motability Direct. But it's a massive operation and a reasonably profitable one, I'm glad to say. But that 50,000 will probably be nearer 60 this year. I've showed you 2 sites, but there are 2 others around the country. All in all, that generates a turnover of 1.15 billion, or it did in 2018. It'll be similar, if not a bit higher, in 2019. And now we've got the additions of yourself and Adams Murray. 2020 we'll be looking to grow that significantly again, and I'm absolutely sure we will. Not only do we have the turnover, fortunately we do make money as well. which is what's enabled us to buy Ewan Adams Murray this year and a few other little bits and pieces. And we've actually got another couple of ideas and hopefully a couple more purchases to complete in 2020. So we are a business which will continue to grow. I hope it's a business that you will feel comfortable with, because I think together we're going to be really successful. Greenhouse Way is a training program that all Greenhouse employees up till now have gone through. It's just a 2-day course in the main, I think, whereby people are told what we expect from them, but we're not dictatorial in any shape or form. Hopefully people like David will be able to explain that that's not the way we work. We're pretty open-minded, but we do have standards and we expect our staff to attain those standards, but it's pretty much a two-way thing. As I said, in the future we will continue to grow. I'm looking forward to seeing your growth. I realise that this year's been a bit tougher than last. It has for everybody in the retail sector of our business, but that will come back. Let's get through Brexit. Let's get through the WLTP issues, the emission issues, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure that we'll be very, very successful in the future. Thanks very much. Well, I hope that gave you an insight into the Greenhouse Group. If any of you have got any questions, then please forward them to David, and I'm pretty sure he'll get in touch with me, and I'd be more than happy to respond. Thanks ever so much for your time, and as I said earlier, we really look forward to working with you in the coming years. Thanks now. Bye.